For 20 years, our marriage was a stable binary system. I was an astrophysicist, staring up at the expanding dark, and Elena was a geologist, obsessed with the strata of the deep earth. We were two massive bodies orbiting a shared center of gravity, bound by forces we didn't need to name. We were tidally locked. In astronomy, this happens when a moon orbits a planet so closely that it rotates at the same speed as its orbit, showing only one face to its partner forever. I showed Elena my reliable face, the professor, the provider, the man who made coffee at 6 a.m. She showed me her grounded face, the pragmatist, the rock, the woman who kept our taxes filed and our roof patched. There was a profound safety in this mechanic. We didn't need to speak to know where the other was. We just felt the gravitational pull. Our life was a series of predictable ellipses. We moved through the seasons with the mathematical certainty of Kepler's laws. It was a cold peace, perhaps, but it was enduring. We were designed to last until the heat death of the universe. 2. Redshift. The distance didn't happen all at once. It was a redshift, the phenomenon where light stretches as an object moves away from you. I began to perceive Elena as if she were moving away from me at high speed. Her voice across the dinner table took longer to reach me. Her stories about rock formations and fault lines, which once grounded me, now felt like transmission static. The silence in our house became a vacuum. Sound requires a medium to travel, and we had exhausted the air between us. I would sit in my study, analyzing data from the telescope arrays, and feel the crushing weight of the empty space in the hallway. I looked at the back of her head while she watched the news and wondered if she was even in the same galaxy as me anymore. I wanted a collision. I wanted an impact event. I wanted something to disturb the dust that had settled over our lives. But physics dictates that an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. 3. The event horizon. Her name was celestial in its irony. Stella. She wasn't a scientist. She was a fundraiser for the observatory. A woman who translated our cold data into stories that made donors open their checkbooks. She was bright, chaotic, and burned with a temperature that frightened me. If Elena was bedrock, Stella was a solar flare. We met at a donor gala. We stood on the balcony, shivering in the winter air. "You look like you're calculating the escape velocity needed to leave this party," she said, lighting a cigarette. "I calculated it 10 minutes ago," I replied. "I just lack the propulsion." She laughed, and the sound was like a gravitational wave rippling through my chest. The affair was a descent into a gravity well. It wasn't a choice, it was a surrender to physics. When I was near her, time dilated. Hours spent in her apartment felt like minutes. Minutes spent at home with Elena felt like centuries. Stella made me feel small and significant all at once. She looked at me not as a fixed point in an orbit, but as a man capable of going supernova. Iffy. Dark matter. A double life is composed mostly of dark matter, invisible, undetectable, yet making up 85% of your reality. I became a master of the void. I learned to navigate the black holes of my schedule. Observatory time tonight. Waiting for the nebulas to clear. The data processing is running slow. I would come home from Stella's bed, my skin humming with radiation, and lie next to Elena. The contrast was absolute zero. Elena was cool, steady, breathing in a slow rhythm that used to comfort me, but now sounded like a countdown. I looked at the ceiling and felt the three-body problem. In physics, two bodies interacting is predictable. you can solve the equation. Add a third body, and the system becomes chaotic. It becomes impossible to predict. I knew the system was unstable. I knew the orbit was decaying. Every lie I told was friction, stripping away the atmosphere, bringing me closer to the crash. And yet, I couldn't pull away. I was caught in the slingshot maneuver, accelerating toward disaster. V. The impact. The discovery wasn't a loud explosion. It was the quiet confirmation of a theory. I had been careful with my digital footprint, but I had forgotten the physical evidence. I had left a program from the opera, an opera Stella loved, which I had claimed to be working through, in the pocket of my coat. Elena was doing the laundry. It was a Sunday. The house smelled of detergent and rain. I walked into the bedroom to find her holding the program. She wasn't crying. She was reading the cast list with the same intensity she used to examine core samples. "You hate Puccini," she said. She didn't look up. A donor gave me the ticket. I went alone. She finally looked at me. Her eyes were hard, ancient, like the stones she studied. "You haven't done anything alone in 30 years, Leo. You are a binary star. You can't exist without a counterweight." She dropped the program on the bed. It landed with a soft thud. "I tracked your phone," she said. "I didn't want to, but the data didn't make sense. You were drifting. I needed to find the source of the anomaly." "Elena, I can explain." "No." She raised a hand. "You can't explain gravity. It just is. You fell into her orbit. I understand the physics, Leo, but I am not a planet you can just leave and return to when you're cold." She stood up. She looked massive in her grief, a planet composed of iron and sorrow. "You've broken the lock," she whispered. "We aren't facing each other anymore." 6. Entropy. I live in a faculty apartment now. It is small, functional, and cold. Stella and I burned out within 3 months. Without the pressure of the secrecy, the star collapsed. She realized I wasn't a daring adventurer. I was just a sad, middle-aged man running from his own shadow. I went back to the house yesterday to sign the papers. Elena was in the garden, planting bulbs for a spring I wouldn't be there to see. The house was silent. But it wasn't the vacuum silence of before. It was the silence of a library after closing time. Peaceful, respectful, and full of stories that were finished. I realized then that the stagnation I had fled was actually an orbit. It was the force that kept me from drifting into the endless, freezing dark of space. I had mistaken stability for boredom. I walked out to my car. I looked up at the sky. It was noon, so the stars were invisible, washed out by the sun. But I knew they were there, cold, distant, indifferent. I had spent my life studying the universe, but I had failed the most basic law of thermodynamics. Entropy always increases. You cannot put the glass back together. You cannot reverse the arrow of time. I was a solitary object now, drifting through the void, with no center of gravity to hold me.